Sejun is used to the lifestyle of a farmer. He wakes up in the morning and goes to wash his face at the pond. He returns to his crops, and now the cherry tomato and sweet potato plants have also grown considerably. He has completed harvesting the green onions for the day. Also, he has finished watering the tomato and sweet potato plants. Sejun is now all set for the day, and he feels really good. A lot of things have happened in the past few days. After he discovered fire with the help of rabbits, they made torches out of green onion leaves and put them around the cave. That helped him roam around the cave easily, especially in the dark areas like the pond. He was near the pond with a torch in his hand when he saw something moving in the water. A fish jumped out of the water, and Sejun was so startled that he barely dodged its open mouth. The fish had jumped with too much power and found itself on land, not able to return to the water. This was the first time Sejun had seen it. He wonders if the fish was attracted to the light of the torch, and his intuition is proved correct. And just like that, Sejun discovered fish in the cave. He kills the fish and roasts it over the fire. Even though he has no seasoning, the fish is really tasty. Sejun finds the rabbits drooling as he eats the fish and asking for their share. He is shocked. He had not expected rabbits to be meat eaters. But since they were basically monsters, he thinks it was natural. 2 days after that, the blue moon showed up. And using his phone, Sejun found out that the blue moon appeared every 30 days on this floor. He was using a laptop and a power bank to keep his phone charged so that he could keep track of the date. But their batteries also dried out eventually. So Sejun had no choice but to start marking the number of days on a wall. And this was how he was keeping track of time now. Back in the present, it is the 61st day. And Sejun thanks the rabbits that go to bed exactly at 7 p.m. and wake up at 5 a.m. Because of that, he can keep counting the days without making mistakes. And even though the sun never set inside the tower, their body clock was adequately reliable. And a few days ago, something amazing happened. We see the tired husband rabbit open the door of his house, and without wasting a moment, a group of baby rabbits bolt out. They were the children of the rabbit couple that were recently born. And now they are fond of Sejun, who is their uncle. They run straight at Sejun and jump on him, casting him to the ground. They are really cute, and Sejun cannot get enough of their cuteness. Even as they chomp his face, he laughs and enjoys their company. Sejun looks at the sleep-deprived husband rabbit and says that it must be hard raising babies. But right now, he says that he will take care of the babies for a while, and the couple should relax and eat breakfast. The cherry tomato plants have started flowering, and Sejun takes the baby rabbits with him to check them out. The babies are frolicking around on the farm as Sejun checks out his plants. The flowers had bloomed, and even though they were tomato flowers, Sejun now thinks he has a flower garden. To bear fruit, pollination is necessary, and he has to do it manually. Sejun uses a small stick to artificially pollinate the flowers, but all the bending and working is taking a toll on his back. He says that it would be great if there were bees around here, but thinks that he is asking for too much. A baby puts his face inside a flower and gets pollen on his face. He sneezes, and Sejun starts laughing. But then Sejun notices something. The tomato plants have started to bear fruit. After so long, his hard work is starting to show some results. Sejun celebrates the first fruits of his cherry tomato plants and dances with the baby rabbit. This day is the one before the blue moon, and as it is about to approach, Sejun makes preparations to survive it. He puts out the fire and stores a small amount of burning leaves under huge boulders. He is wearing makeshift clothes made from onion leaves and thinks that it will be enough to stay warm and hidden. The rabbits also head back to their homes as the time for the blue moon draws near. There is something scary that happens whenever the blue moon occurs, and Sejun is confident that they are going to survive it like the previous ones. He thinks it's going to be a piece of cake and goes into hiding. The blue moon starts, and monsters start screeching throughout the forest. Sejun is not afraid, but he is tired and hopes that the blue moon ends soon. To prepare for an unlikely situation, he has already hidden the things with a strong odor and is now hiding in a corner. But since it is hard to tell how much time has passed, he is getting tired of waiting. The monster cries do not help either, they are far away, but they can still make him shiver. As he hopes that this blue moon also passes without incident, he hears a loud roar. It was different and more intense than the voice of other monsters, almost like it was close to him. And indeed, a huge monster was walking towards the cave, squashing full-grown trees beneath its feet. He approaches the entrance to the cave, which is too small in comparison to its size. The monster stares down the hole, and inside, Sejun gapes as he sees it. Now he is scared of the giant bear-like monster in front of him. But thankfully, the monster has not noticed him yet. Sejun thinks he should hide in a better place before the monster spots him. He is trembling as he picks up his bag and starts moving quietly and slowly. But taking the bag with him turns out to be a mistake. The things inside the bag drop as Sejin picks them up, and because of the loud noise created by the empty water bottle, the monster's attention is attracted. Sejin stares in horror, first at his stuff and then up at the beast, who is now trying to peep inside the cave. Sejin screams in fear, and the bear roars in response. But a few moments later, Sejin is sound asleep, and the rabbits are trying to wake him up. When the baby rabbits fail to wake him up, their father slaps Sejin, and he gets up. He gets up in shock, still afraid of what he saw before passing out. He asks the rabbits what happened to the blue moon, and as he looks around, he realizes that it was over. The husband rabbit tells Sejin that he was unconscious when they found him, and he says that he passed away when he saw a monster. But he himself wants to know what happened after that. When he saw the monster trying to force his entry into the cave, he was terrified and could not move. The monster roared, and he passed out. Sejin remembers it and shivers. He almost lost his life at the hands of that monster. He is feeling cold, and the wife rabbit creates a big fire and a blanket of onion leaves. Sejin sits in front of the fire with the baby rabbit snuggled up with him. The wife's rabbit also brings him roasted fish, and Sejin thanks her. As Sejin is eating, he realizes that the monster has noticed this place. It may have been because of another monster or because it could not get inside the cave because of the small entrance. But the monster left without causing harm. But there was no guarantee that if it came the next time, he would stay safe. He thinks that he got lucky this time, but it may go differently next time. After everything he has done to survive, he does not want to die. And he thinks that what he could do right now is eat well and survive. Sejin is eating his fish when the husband rabbit comes to him, wanting to show him something. Sejin follows him and finds something unbelievable. A cherry tomato was ripe, but it was nothing like he had expected. It was blue and glistening in the sunlight. Sejin is shocked, but the blue color is not the first thing he notices about the fruit. He bows down and tries to pick up the big and ripe fruit, and then he wonders why it was blue. He wonders if the tomato is ripe, and just then, something appears in front of him. A window opens up in front of Sejin, and it tells him that he has completed the quest to harvest a fruit containing the energy of the blue moon. Sejin is shocked. He cannot believe that the thing in front of him was an actual message window. The message on the window changes, and now it says that the manager was interested in him because of his amazing achievements. It was keeping a keen eye on Sejin, but it was not happy. Sejin is confused. Why would the tower manager not be happy with him? And the husband rabbit does not know anything that is going on. Sejin is informed that he was not a duly invited guest, and the tower manager has accepted it as a blunder it wants to hide. Sejin is shocked and asks the window what it means. Was it a mistake that he ended up in the tower? He lashes out, saying that after he spent more than 2 months in this place, the tower manager dared to say that it was a mistake. He says that if that were the case, he should be allowed to go home immediately. But the window says that the tower master wanted to kill Sejin to eradicate all proof of this mistake. Sejin is flabbergasted. He screams at the screen, saying that he completed a wonderful achievement, and instead of rewarding him, the manager wanted to kill him. The system window falls silent for a while, and Sejin wonders what was happening. The next message he gets changes his mood from scared and angry to elated. The tower manager is awakening him. Sejin feels an aura surrounding him as soon as the message is displayed. He cannot believe it and confirms with the window that he is officially awake in the tower now. He wants to know his job, and since he thinks that he is smart, he should be a wizard. The tower master is assigning him a job, and Sejin eagerly waits to see which one he will get. And his job is a tower farmer with proficiency of F rank. All the joy and excitement leave Sejin's face, and he goes blank. The windows keep giving him messages about his job. He will never get sick and be close to nature because of his job. And he will get his experience points by harvesting crops. Sejin is shocked. There was no job class other than a warrior, and a magician inside the tower. How could he be a farmer? He commands to open his status window and finds that his talent is ordinary and his stats are all at 1. He stares at his status window, but the only thing he can focus on is his ordinary talent. He thinks of a far-fetched scenario, one of a future where he succeeds in clearing the tower. He is the main guest of a late-night talk show, and the host introduces him as the man who cleared the tower despite having ordinary talent. The host asks the audience to applaud for Sejin and then asks him what his job was. Sejin acts cool, and as he says that he was the tower farmer, everyone finds him attractive. But this imaginary scenario is too pathetic. Even though Sejin has cleared the tower in it, he is still a farmer. He yells out in frustration and tries to smash the blue tomato to the ground, saying he did not need it. But then he looks at the scared and concerned faces of the rabbits and stops. Sejun is taken aback by the influence his actions had on his friends and looks at his farm, then at the tomato in his hand. He was not alone in growing it. Everyone had worked hard to reach this point. Sejun decides that he is going to keep farming, and the rabbits are happy. He looks at the blue tomato in his hand, and an information window opens up, telling him about the tomato. It was a magical cherry tomato, imbued with the power of the blue moon. Not only was it tasty and nutritious, but when consumed, it would increase 0.05 MP permanently. Sejun is shocked. The tomato in his hand was actually an item. Even though the effect was small, it was permanent, and it could boost one's stats. Sejun is amazed by himself. He grew something as great as this. But the tower manager is watching him, and he is not satisfied with how things are going. As Sejun thanks the rabbits and celebrates with them for achieving this feat, a message window pops up in front of him. A quest had been triggered. He had to offer the blue cherry tomato to the manager. The reward for the quest was a job-related skill, and the penalty for refusing was death. Sejun reads the entire message, and when he reads that the penalty was death, he is scared. He asks the window if it wasn't a joke, and if it was in poor taste.